But what we're going to talk about today are the digital marketing secrets of top performing agents. And I'm really excited to be presenting this research because over the last sort of 6 months or so, we have been capturing survey results from agents to understand what they do and don't understand about digital marketing and where the gaps are, because we figured if we could measure and capture some information around what we do get as an industry and where we're really struggling, we can start to kind of target and focus on it. So what we're going to answer as part of this presentation and webinar today is we're going to ask the question, how do top performing agents use digital marketing? And what are they doing that's different to the general population of agents? And this comes from the research that we did that had, we surveyed 146 different agents. They were across Australia and New Zealand. And we looked at them, what was working, what they told us was working, what they said they didn't feel was working, how confident and competent we are in different sections of digital marketing. And then we also wanted to compare the top performers to those who were demonstrating weakest performance. And we measured that performance in terms of listing volume across the year. And all of this can be found inside the Uncovering the Skill Gap report, so the digital marketing report in real estate in 2021. We're going to share this deck with you today after the webinar, and there will be a recording and we will share that out with you as well. And inside the deck, I've hot linked it to all of the resources that you need that we're referring to inside this report. So you'll be able to download the full report. It's really straightforward and easy to read, and it includes a lot of these numbers. So what did we find in the data? What are real estate agents good at with digital marketing? What are we needing to do some more work on? Well, we found that 93% of the agents that we surveyed said that digital marketing is really important to their current success. So there's a 7% gap there. And when we actually asked them, was it important to your future success, that number jumped up to 98%. So pretty much the whole industry is convinced that digital marketing is a skill that we all really need to get our brain around, and that it is determining how successful we are right now and how successful we're going to be in the future. So it's great to see so many people convinced about its importance. Here's where it starts to get interesting though. Only 4% of us said that we thought that our skills were excellent. And that number increases a bit when we get to were they good? So 42% said that our skills were good. But this means that more than half the industry still feel that their skills in digital marketing need a lot of work. And maybe that's why you've jumped on this call. We're going to go through how to improve those skills as part of this webinar. But basically, more than half the industry feels like we still need to do quite a bit of work in this space. When we asked agents, how do you handle your digital marketing? And digital marketing is a really big space. You know, it includes email marketing, includes social media, includes website, includes Google ads, all these sorts of things. There's my neighbours going. 22% of those who we surveyed said that they fully automated their delivery, and 33% said that they handled their delivery, that they had their marketing handled by someone in their team, either an admin or a marketing assistant. And what we also found that I found kind of interesting, because I thought this number was pretty low, and it might be that people were normalizing their behavior, but 58% spent less than 7 hours a week on social, which means that as an industry, even though we all think that digital marketing is really important, we're only spending about an hour a week on it. If this number is true, based on, you know, people have told the truth and they didn't want to admit to their habits, that we're spending about 7 hours a week on social. And the last one is that most of it, like the overwhelming majority of us, think that 81% think that social media is really great for branding. Now, these numbers, when people tell me that things are great for branding, that always sends a bit of an alert for me, because I think we often use, oh, that's great for branding, when we actually don't know what else it can or should be doing. So some really interesting numbers in here about how we are going with digital marketing. And how competent are we? Well, here's some, not really, like we're sort of starting to get there, but we really need to be building a lot more muscle in our digital marketing. So what we can see is that 53%, the highest number was effective competence around email marketing, and we were happy to hear that at ActivePipe. 52% felt that we're pretty competent at Facebook. But those numbers really start to drop off, and only, you know, around about a third of us are competent at managing our website, Instagram, Google Ads, LinkedIn, and SEO. So some really important skills here in the digital marketing space that we just don't understand how they come together. Now that's okay. As an agent, you're listing and selling. You don't need to know all the details necessarily of this, but you do need to have someone in your team who does, and you do need to know why it's important to be supporting them with time and resources behind it, because you need to know the kind of results that you should be getting. Sorry about my next door neighbours. So let's have a quick look at where we're weakest so that we can look at what we need to address. 54% of us, so more than half of us, feel that our website is ineffective at generating leads. Now, some of us are using franchise or owner-based websites, and we don't have a lot of control about that, but that's a really concerning number. We need to be looking at how our websites can be really becoming lead generation engines for us. Only 22% of the agents that we surveyed had a written strategy or someone dedicated in their team to actually looking after their digital media, whose sole responsibility it was to make all these different elements happen and to have KPIs around that. And we're going to dive into this number a lot more in this presentation, because this written strategy really is at the heart and soul of everything that goes on. 43% of them feel pretty incompetent at Instagram. 63% of us are not competent at all at Google Ads. And 57% are not competent at LinkedIn. And I reckon LinkedIn's one of the easiest ones to use, and it's a great B2B or a way of connecting with people on a professional level. So I thought that was a pretty amazing number. These are all things that we can easily address. So what does this mean? Like, why do we need to care about these numbers? What should we do about them? Well, what it means is that we don't really know what they're indications that we have a lot more work to do in this digital marketing space. We can see in the data that as an industry, we're making it up as we're going along. We're hoping that what we're doing is working. And when it does work, we kind of say, well, that's good because it was branding. And we are, as an industry, chasing lots of shiny buttons. We're kind of hoping that we can just do one thing that will fix everything. And we're doing that from a tech perspective, rather than putting all the different puzzle pieces together and coming up with how we want it to work and the results that we want to get. And we're probably doing that because we don't quite understand the space well enough. So this is the purpose of this webinar, is to actually help us understand what should different parts of our digital marketing strategy be doing? Why should we have a strategy around it? And how can we actually set someone up in our team to start to achieve those results for us? So what do our top performers do? Oh, pretty bad piece of animation there on my behalf. Anyway, so 53% of our top performers had good or excellent direct marketing skills. So if you think back to that other number, which was around the 46% number, we can see that top performers have a statistically significant better result. They're more confident around their skills in digital marketing. 40%, unlike the 22% that we saw in the original number, 40% of top performers, and these are guys who are selling the most inside our survey, they had a clear digital marketing strategy. They knew what they were doing. They had very clear goals around it. They had someone responsible for it. Our top performers were also super confident at email marketing. So they were significantly more confident than the bulk of the survey around it. And the same number were confident with their website. They had their website set up and they had the structures in place so that their website was generating leads for them, and they knew that it was doing that and they could see the results that they were getting. And 33% of them confident with Google Ads. Now, Google Ads is a really technical part of the back end of the business, and 33% still a fairly low number, but it's more than twice what the general sort of real estate population was around Google Ads. So we see with top performers that they have a better idea as to what digital marketing should be achieving for them. They have resource and time set up around digital marketing. They know how they want it to work, and they're spending the time and energy on getting the different elements of their digital marketing strategy into place so that they can see those results, and they are getting the results from them. So why is a digital marketing strategy so important? Well, when we took the data that from those 22% of those people that had a digital marketing strategy, and we looked at the results that they were achieving, and we looked at their competency levels, and we looked at the results that they were getting and their performance levels, we could see that this one thing of having a strategy in place and resourcing that strategy was the single most important thing that you could do as an agent to help really improve digital marketing. So when we looked at those guys, 76% of those had good or excellent marketing skills. So remember, our original number was only around 40%. So nearly twice as many of, if you have a strategy in place, then you are more than twice, that you're nearly twice as likely to have good or excellent marketing skills. It's a serious way of improving what you're doing. Of the people who had a strategy, these guys, a good proportion of them had someone who managed their digital marketing specifically. So they had someone in their team who this was their job, that it was their job to learn, to learn the latest stuff, to spend time on researching and using it. We also saw that when agents had a strategy behind their digital marketing, they were significantly more likely to use video, and they were significantly more likely to use blogs and articles. And I know that as an agent, we get thrown a whole lot of information about all the things that you should do around digital marketing, and it's hard to kind of put them into a structure and an order so that you can understand what to do. But what we saw with those who had a strategy in place, they could see why they needed to create video, they could see where to place it, they could see the value of blogs and articles, and so they were able to approach their content strategy in a much more structured and organised way. And I think that's one of the issues with digital marketing, isn't it? Is that there's so much stuff you can do and it feels like you should be doing it all the time, that it is actually one of, what we can see from this strategy insight is that it's really important to take a step back and think, what do we want to get out of this? And why aren't we doing that at the moment? And to actually take some time to think it through. We could see from those who had a strategy that 69% of them were using their own website for advertising properties. So they were putting all of their properties onto their website first, and then they were sharing them with the portals. And they were probably doing that with things like off-market strategies and their web and their email strategy to kind of promote that to their website first, and then sharing it with realestate.com or domain. And 80% of them were using email marketing for lead generation, which was significantly higher than the average response time. This is a visual that I've shown quite a few times in the webinars, where we've got this eternity loop where we've got new clients coming in, and then we've got past clients where we're staying in touch with them, and we want to be in sort of continuous conversation and connection with people in this loop. And what I've done this time is actually overlay that at with behind it sort of the environments that are sitting behind it from a digital media point of view. We have our social media background, which is, and then that's overlaid with our website, and then that's overlaid with our email. And look, and so trying to sort of show how some of these things come together. We've got our social media where we're trying to capture attention for the first time, reach out to audiences, especially in our local market. We're trying to engage with them and just let them know that we're there. We are doing some branding through social media, but as they start to engage, we're starting to track that behavior. And then in social media, what we're really trying to do is get people onto our website, or we want to be able to capture their details, whether that's either through our website or whether that is through our email. But we want to capture their details because we want to get them into a platform that we own and can control, which is something we can't necessarily do in social media because the algorithms are changing all the time. So on our website, this is where we're putting our content. This is where we're putting our content first, whether it's a listing, whether it's a blog or an article. We're putting it on the website first, and we're using it, and we're linking back to that to share on social media. And our website becomes our center of informing and educating our market, and it becomes like the source of truth for us as an office, so that everything that we're doing in other areas is pushing back to it. And then in our email engagement side, we are starting to keep those people who have signed up to us up to date, we're giving them special access to information that they wouldn't get if they were just using the portals. And we're starting to automate that engagement so we can talk to more people more quickly, and give them a better level of service. And we're starting to recognise their preferences. So we're understanding the difference between a first home buyer and an investor. We're starting to share information with them that is really targeted towards their particular property journey. And then from there, we, again, capturing more details, keeping them in the loop and keeping them up to date until they do business with us. Does that make sense? I'll push on. So now this is what top performers understand about digital marketing. And we shared this funnel last time in the last webinar that I did. But basically we've got behind, I can't do that. They understand the 3 levels of engagement, and those levels are awareness, interest and transaction. So you start off at the top of the funnel where people who have never heard of you, or they might only vaguely be aware of you, then they might need your services, they've only just met you, they're engaged with you, they become a raving fan. So you're bringing people down through that funnel. And those 3 stages of engagement are also talking around who you're talking to. And at the top of the funnel, you're talking, there's one of you and you're talking to many people. You're talking to as many people as you can through your social media or through your website, but you're aiming to have like general conversations. As they start to move down the funnel, you're starting to talk to some of them and it's becoming more targeted. And then once you get down to that bottom level where you're actually doing business with them and transacting with them, that's when you're having the one-to-one conversations. And this is really different to trying to do everything on a telephone, which is all one-to-one the whole way through. And you can't, that's where, this is where digital marketing becomes enormously powerful, because it frees you up so that your one-to-one conversations are actually with the people who need to have a one-to-one conversation with you because of the stage of the transaction that they're at. Where it also helps people feel like you're giving them a great service, and it helps them feel like you're providing information that's valuable to them without being in their face at a time when they're just information gathering. So our top performers really understand that there's these 3 levels of engagement, of awareness, interest and transaction. They understand that the intensity of that communication is around the urgency of the transaction, or the urgency of where you're up to in the journey or the transaction. So, urgent phone calls, one-to-one, general information, more either email or social. And here's one of the really important things around what we see from top performers is that they actually prospect for relationships. They're not simply prospecting for leads. They understand that relationships turn into leads, and they're certainly keen to nurture those relationships as quickly as possible into a lead. But when they first reach out and they are looking to connect with people, they are looking to establish the relationship, not to do the weirdo stalker bit and ask them, hey, I just met you and this is crazy, but could I sell your house now? So we want to really get away from that conversation in real estate because it's very off-putting. Let's go now into some of the juicy stuff around what are top performers doing around the different types of digital marketing. So our 3 types of digital marketing that we're going to cover in this are social media, websites and email marketing, of course. So let's have a look at what our top performers are doing in that space. Well, they're using social media to really attract attention and build awareness. And they're using it to really identify the really early engagement signals and to build upon audience insights. Now, one of the interesting anecdotes that I heard, or that someone commented on in the survey, was that, when I post a picture of an amazing property, I get a lot of sort of tire kickers that comment on it. It's like, if only we could win lotto, we could buy this house, sort of thing. And that's not super useful to someone that I want to sell I can't sell their house right now. But what we can see around that kind of content is that's either generally targeted, so it's going to the wrong people inside your feed. And so how are you targeting content around property at different price levels or at different interest levels so that it is going to the right audiences that are making up not just sort of general everyone on Facebook. Inside social media, you really want to be pushing back to your website or pushing back to an email connection or pushing back to a landing page. So you're sharing information that once people click on it, you're starting to capture their preferences And Facebook and social media, what we see from top performers is that they use it a lot to talk about their local community. So they use it a lot to talk about people in their area that they know, their favorite cafes, what the local market is doing, how suburb performance has been going. And they will often use it as well to do, and we see this especially in the US, but here in Australia and New Zealand, connecting up with local identities, doing little interviews, talking about your favorite places to where you like to go to the beach, the favorite park to hang out, your favorite cafe, or local identities in your area, and also sharing information about things like events that you might be having. So if you're doing a cinema day or something inside your local community, local festival or event, then promoting all of that stuff on social media as well. How do top performers use email marketing? Well, they use that by nurturing relationships, by showing the value in being connected. And what we see in the data is that if you're asking people to sign up to your newsletter so that you share exactly the same information with them through your newsletter that you share with them on realestate.com, there is no value in being in your newsletter. So what you want to be giving people is special privilege and special access rights by signing up. And you want to be letting them know that when they sign up to your newsletter or sign up to your database, that they will get something extra that they cannot get if they sign up to the big portals. So they have to see value in being connected. They use email marketing by delivering personalized services and experiences to more people. And email marketing is a fantastic way for real estate agents who, and look, we all know as agents, our primary clients are sellers, but you need to be delivering better service to buyers without that taking up an awful lot of your time. So we see our top performers using email marketing to deliver more personalized experiences and services, especially to buyers, by sharing with them new listings before they go onto realestate.com or Domain, by sharing with them insights into what's happening on the market, by alerting them to changes in prices or price resets or changes to auction times. So really delivering personalized service to them. We see that they're using email marketing, they're automating it so that the information that they're sharing is really consistent. So they're not sort of changing the format each time they type something, but they have nice, clear templates and guidelines for how they deliver information. And they're using email marketing because they understand that behind the email marketing is a whole lot of analytics and insights that really helps them understand who is engaging and who they should then focus on. And the Active platform is amazing for this in helping you rank and sort your leads. And it also helps you provide insight. They're also using email marketing to provide insights into what's working and what isn't. Because let's face it, sometimes we try things in digital marketing and they don't work. And it's great to know that it didn't work really quickly so that you can stop doing that and start moving on to something else. Any questions so far?
Yes.
Oh.
So
we
just
do.
to jump in there quickly, Kylie. So we've had a lot of questions about the session being recorded. I can confirm that the session is being recorded and a copy will be provided to you afterwards. We've had a lot of questions about that. So just letting you know, rest assured, if you've missed anything, you can watch it back at a later date. Also got a question here from Richard, which would be a good time to touch on that now. He mentioned most people expect to learn along the way. How should someone go about learning digital marketing? So I think this session today is a really good start. I don't know about you guys, but I'm learning a lot from this, which is great. Thank you, Kylie. But is there anything else you would suggest for somebody to kind of get more familiar with the digital marketing space?
Yeah, so, and look, this is one of the things that came out of the data in a really big way, is that most of us as agents expect that we will learn it as we go along. Yet we all think, pretty much 93% of us or 98% of us, understand that it is vitally important. So the question I guess I've got for everyone is, if you believe that something is vitally important, you need to be putting time aside to be learning it, not just hoping that faffing around with Facebook on the weekend will teach you the skills you need. You need to put some structure and you need to put some focus into understanding what you do know and or understanding what you should know and what you don't know, and filling up that skills gap. And I think this is probably one of the biggest mistakes we make, is that we think we will absorb it by osmosis, when in fact having a structured approach to it, taking some time out and saying, actually, you know what, I don't understand this as well as I need to, so I'm going to double down on it now, and I'm going to start to attend more courses or conference, webinars, or I am going to identify what we're not doing properly, and I'm going to put some time aside for my administrative assistant once a week or once a month to start to specifically learn some skills. But the mistake we make is that we think we can do it while we are listing and selling and doing all the things that we do all the time as agents. And what we can see in this data is that that's not really working for us. We believe it's really important, but we don't have time for it. So we'll just try and do it in the gaps. This is not something you can learn at 3 a.m. in the morning when your brain finally stops spinning. So cool. I'm gonna push on now to the website stuff, but that's a great question, and it really talks to the heart of everything that we're talking about now. We are going to kind of cover, well, how do I actually do this a little in a minute or two. So what we can see too is, how do top performers use their website? Well, look, top performers understand that their website is their shop front. It's their digital shop front, and it's functioning 24/7. And in the same way that, back in the 80s and 90s, we used to have and we still do today, have amazing retail fronts for our businesses. This is the digital equivalent of that. And it needs to be sharing not just the information that you would see in the window of it as a retail shop front, but a whole lot of more information, so that Mr. and Mrs. buyer or seller or investor or renter can find out everything that they need to know through you about what their experience is going to be like buying or selling if they use you, or if they're involved with you as an agent, about what their experience is likely to be like just generally in buying, selling, renting or investing, and especially why they should be choosing you rather than any other agent in your area. So all of our top performers had their tracking pixels sitting at the back of it. Now, some of this stuff, it's not like the top selling agent actually inserted the pixel, but they had someone that knew what they were doing to put that on. They post all of their listings to their site, and they share content as blogs. Their website is their source of truth. They also put all of their videos onto their website as well. And they give their email signups access to that content before it goes onto any third-party websites. And they create landing pages to drive engagement. So when they've got a new campaign or something new that they're doing, they will set up a landing page, and they will start to track who's coming onto that, and and they will have systems and structures in place to recognize that engagement. Now, that sounds really technical, and it sounds slightly terrifying if you're in the middle of listing and selling, but it's the sort of stuff that ActivePipe actually has functioning already in the background to make that stuff easy, that ties then into your website. So let's answer this question, the next one, because leading on from that idea of a landing page, how do top performers use content? Well, they use content to really inspire and motivate, because we all love a bit of property porn, right? So is now a great time to buy? Well, can you imagine yourself living here? Absolutely, you should definitely buy this place. Does that mean you need to sell? Oh, okay, let me help you with that. They use content to inform and to educate, and in doing that, it really helps demonstrate their own expertise. So if I can answer all of the questions that you've got before you even need to pick up the phone to me about what's happening in our local market and what is key things that you're going to experience in your property journey, then absolutely you can rely on me when we actually do meet face to face. We've already broken a lot of that ice. Answering lots of common questions anonymously. Like, most people don't want to talk to an agent as their first thing that they do when they're thinking about buying or selling. There is a period of quiet, self-managed research that all of us want to do. And that is what, and that is that micro moment research. Sitting on the bus, I'm thinking about, maybe we should sell. Like, what could I afford to buy if I was going to sell our property now? What's my house worth? Those sorts of things. I don't want to talk to an agent. I'm not in a position to talk to an agent. I just want to find out some of those answers on my own. They use content to drive their social media engagement, and they do this in a way that is more than just a meme. So they're putting their content onto their website, and then they're sharing that content into their social media feeds. or they are using video uploaded to social media to game the algorithms and get better engagement. But they're really using content above all to try and capture clicks and engagement and to see what is happening so that they can start to, with that automation sitting in the background, start to really deliver better content, more content of the type that people are finding useful and interesting, so that we're kind of setting up our own preferences and being able to be getting content that's customized to us. So creating customized experiences for our clients. Now, you probably already have a lot of this content. You are, because when we have this content conversation, everyone goes, "Oh, I don't have time to do content." But look, you've probably got a hell of a lot of it already sitting somewhere in your business that you just haven't really compiled into a format that you can use properly. So you've already got property photos and descriptions. You've got your agent profile on who you are and what you do. And don't say customer service. Actually talk about real life examples of ways that you have helped people through different kinds of property journeys. Testimonials and reviews, they're always really powerful. Events and community support, like there's hardly an agent in town that doesn't help with the local school fete or get involved in a community event or is a member of Lions or Rotary or some kind of community event. Like, talk about that stuff with your audience. And videos, whether it is a beautiful walkthrough, whether it is a 360 degree, 360 virtual, whether it is you standing in front of your iPhone and talking about what's happening in your market, whether it is you standing in front of your iPhone and talking about what happened at the auction on Saturday and how many people were interested and what's going on in the market right now. All of that is content that you probably already have. Some content that you might need, just quickly, blogs and articles, especially evergreen advice, market reports and landing pages, and more video. So sort of video that shows local data. This is all content that certainly ActivePipe can help you pull together. So how do we match the different so thinking back to that eternity loop that we talked about before, and how do we think about how that sort of comes together as we start to sort of try and gently guide, not push, but gently guide people through our marketing funnel? Well, we get from this first stage of never heard of you at all. So probably people are bumping into you initially through social media. And then as they start to become aware of you, it's because they're either seeing portal ads because they've started research on the portals, and or that because they've seen you in social media or on the portals, they're starting to get Google ads targeted at them, and or they're noticing your listing. So they've started to become aware of you. As they start to move down, they're starting to move into your website. Hopefully, once they're inside your website, you should be capturing their details so that you're encouraging them to sign up for your email marketing. Again, you're still talking to them through portal ads, and you're starting to share more information with them, maybe through social media, or just noticing that they're looking at your social media a lot more, tagging it, liking it, sharing it with friends. Once they've started to meet you, maybe you've met them at an open for inspection. They're definitely on your website. They've signed up to email marketing, and maybe they're starting to direct message you, or maybe you're starting to get more kind of one-to-one kind of communication starting to pop into it. Once they are engaged with you, that might be a phone if they are, an AstraZeneca user. If they're eligible for the AstraZeneca jab, then probably they are going to be okay with a phone. If they're a Pfizer candidate, no, they don't want to talk to you on the phone. They'll just message you. That's the new way that you'd work out people's age for the Kiwis. And then phone and direct email. We start to get really into the one-to-one communication as we work through our channels, and we see people becoming raving fans. And hopefully by this stage, they've also supplied you with a testimonial. Do we have any more questions? So just revising this one-to-many, one-to-some, and that one-to-one kind of communication level that we're working on.
We do have a couple of questions and comments here, Kylie.
Yep.
Brad really likes your comment that stuck with him. If you think it's important, learn it, which I think is really good. It's a good takeaway. A couple of questions here. One from Charlotte. She refers, when you were talking about diverting people back to their website, she asked whether you're referring to a corporate website or the agent's own website.
Oh, agent's own. That's the relationship with you that you want them to have, right? Yeah.
Perfect. Yep, completely agree. One more question here from Simone. Tips on finding the right person to assist if you do not have an assistant. Do you know of anyone out there, Kylie, that can help with social marketing and digital marketing?
So I was at, so I'm on the Gold Coast at the moment, and I went to catch up with the Property Girls on Saturday night, and Michelle Kerr from Duet Property spoke, and she did a brilliant job talking about and how she set up. Find you don't have to hire someone full-time with a full marketing degree to start this journey. Find even find someone who is maybe a marketing graduate out of uni who wants to do a couple of days a week, and or even an offshore who has got some skills in this space. But it's really about what we're just going to go into this sort of section next, but it's really about not expecting your own brain while you are listing and selling properties, which should be your primary goal, to be also trying to solve all the diminutive of the detail of how do you make this stuff happen. And it's about setting up inside your business with your assistants, or as you start to grow your own business, bringing people on board with the time frame that you can afford and that can make a difference, so that you can start to experiment with it and start to get better at it and start to see it impact on your business, so that you can then start to hire them for longer or for better. So Michelle talked about how when she started out, she was at around the 350 GCI mark, and she could see that she was getting too busy. She was trying to do too many things, and so that meant that she was neglecting the marketing, but she understood that was really essential to her. So she found like a uni undergraduate who was working in the space, and he used to come and do sort of 2 days a week for, but they would agree on what the things he was going to do, and he would do them. And now he works full time with her, and he has like a whole team working for it. So, and she told me they've done like a $3 million profit this year. So you can start to build it up gradually. You don't have to sort of take someone on full time. So let's actually talk about from there, what are the 3 most important things that you can do to start to really get into this space? Well, I know that once you've sent a webinar, it's like, right, I've got to fix this. Let's get it done. All right. Okay. Before you start to try and fix it, try and think about what don't you know? Like, so, we know what we know. We know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And then I think there's a 4th part of that quadrant, but I can't quite remember it. But we need to work. You need to do an audit. Think about, what am I doing at the moment in digital marketing? What am I doing in social media? What am I doing with my website? What am I doing with with my email marketing? Take some time out. Make a morning or a day, or go and sit in a park or somewhere. Get away from the computer. Get away from the phone, and think about what you're currently doing, what you think is working, and what you think isn't working, or where you think you could improve. Because that's where you need to build the strategy around filling the gaps. And you don't have to build a perfect strategy that fills all the gaps instantaneously. What you need to build is a bit of a roadmap that says, okay, well, it's no point me spending a whole lot of money on social media and boosting posts if my website and my email marketing isn't capturing it. So maybe I'm better off, maybe the most affordable way for me to start right now, if I already have an ActivePipe subscription, is let's make sure I'm getting everything I can out of ActivePipe, and let's make sure that I've got my ActivePipe and my website connected up properly. So maybe that's the thing I need to do first. And we'll talk about some of the resources available for that. And then after I've got those things working better, that's when I'm going to start to focus more on what I need to do next in social media. So don't try and hit everything all at once. Be really strategic, set some goals, make sure those goals are smart. And give yourself, and work out, well, if we spend this much, if I can find an assistant who can, or if I can make sure my assistant spends 1 morning a week learning something new in this space, what by the end of the month, what could we expect to be doing differently? But do make someone responsible for executing the strategy, and make sure you're giving them KPIs. Now, the KPI shouldn't be, I have to get X number of listings, but it should be, well, you fix up our email marketing so that we're actually automating it, and we're going from where we're kind of reacting now, but we've actually got, we've got our email marketing bedded down much more strongly. We've got our email marketing connected in with our website. We're putting, we've got a content strategy. But you really do need to dedicate time each quarter, each month and each quarter to setting goals, monitoring progress and training, and using the tools that are inside your tech suite. So using the tools inside ActivePipe to the dashboard to see what's going on with the content, with the marketing that you're already doing, making sure you understand what that dashboard's telling you, because that's really going to share the levers. And if you can understand the ActivePipe dashboard, then the Facebook dashboard starts to tell you the same thing, but from the social media point of view. And Google will start to tell you what's happening inside your website. So you don't have to know all the detail of it, but you need to know what you should be doing, what you want to be able to achieve out of it, which is, I want to start creating relationships. I want that to not be something that stresses me constantly. I want that to happen automatically. I want amazing information to go out to my buyers and sellers. I want that to be building my brand. I want that to be making me the agent of choice in my area. And I want that to be as automated and smooth as possible. And I want to capture as many people as I can without killing anybody in the process. And then sort of, making time in your month and your quarter to just really reflect, revise, and pivot if things need to be adjusted. So we shared this last time, and it is in the Scalable Agent report. But you can see this in detail rather than trying to read it on the screen. But bringing it all together, our 3 levels of awareness, interest, and transaction. What's the customer journey? Where are customers at, whether they're buyers or sellers, or anyone as they go through these different stages? What kind of channels should we be looking at targeting? How do we target those people? Where do we find them? And what kind of digital channels should we be using? And what sort of content ideas are out there that would help me engage with those people better? This is kind of like the perfect plan. It's not the perfect plan, but it's a way of trying to structure it. But don't try to do this from day one. Work out what you're strong at, what you're not strong at, and then start to fill the gaps so that you're working towards something that looks like this. Now, if you do need some help, here are some prop techs as well as ActivePipe, obviously, that can help you. So in the digital marketing space, social media space, I'm forgetting my words, Spoke, Property, and Pleasel are 3 prop techs that can help you better target Facebook and social media advertising and assist you with things like Google Ads. So if you don't want to go down the assistant route, if you're looking for someone to help you externally, even if initially so you can get your brain around it, or you're looking for a tool to give to an admin that you've got at the moment that would help them target it more specifically, those 3 guys are worth checking out. Just Google them, you'll find them pretty quickly. If you're needing website help, Steps build very good websites for real estate agents. They use the WordPress platform as their core. WebIT also are very good in that space. They don't use WordPress, I can't remember what they use, but they do plumb it into your data feeds. So they're 2 very good providers. And ActivePipe, of course, we'd be more than happy to help you. You can download the report. We've included the links in this deck, and we'll share that out with you. Every ActivePipe client has a success manager. And if you don't know who that is, just email us at success@ActivePipe. Our support team's on call too if you're getting stuck. We're more than happy to do a regular account review. So help you, with that audit. What are you doing well? What aren't you doing well? Let us help you understand that better. And we do have the products, HomePrezo, Market Insights, and real estate content to enhance your campaign. So I'm more than happy to let you request a demo. So any more questions?
Amazing. Thanks, Kylie. There was another question, a couple of people asking about, step-by-step course might be useful. I think the best reference for that would be the Scalable Agent, which was a report that ActivePipe has worked on, which you will be provided with after the session. There will also be more sessions like this. Tom, I think it was Tom who asked this in the future. So we'll make sure to invite you to those so you can see these from Kylie. There was a question here from Jazz. As a director of a company, we use our own website powered by our network. Would you still recommend having an agent-specific web page within that website, Kylie?
I think every agent needs their own profile page. So so that I can, because I want to be able to position, because people don't sell or buy through, well, they don't sell through a brand, they sell with a person. Like, they sell with an agent who is their agent, who helps them, guides them through this whole process, terrifying process of selling a property. So you want to be able to humanize your brand as much as possible, and your agents are the best way of humanizing your brand. So and as an agent, I would want to be talking about the people that I've helped and the different types of life experiences that they've had, and how I was able to solve problems for my clients, and the way that I try and guide or coach them through their journey. And I think as an agency and as a principal, the better quality information that you have got on each agent that talks sort of in that space sitting on your website, the better your SEO, that you've got a lot more information sitting behind your website, rather than just a whole lot of, we're the most professional seller of real estate in our local area, and we put our customers first, because everyone says that. You really want to emphasize the personal experiences that your teams offer and how they connect and genuinely with people. Fantastic. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. It's been great to see you all.